I can confidently tell you that this one thing that I've started to implement a couple of years ago has tripled my business as a adventure photographer. So I'm going to dive into what that is today and how you can use this to benefit you as a photographer. My name is Richardson. I'm an adventure photographer, and I want to help you succeed at your photography endeavors. If you want to support what I'm doing here in this channel, liking the video and commenting down below would be a huge help. So about 4 years back, I was kind of making the transition, or at least trying to make the transition into full-time photography. And a lot of people will tell you, a lot of professionals, if you ask them what the most difficult part of full-time photography is, it's kind of that initial transition of going from either 1 to 10 or 90 to 100. So, you know, the 1 to 10, getting the camera, getting the skills, building a network, all the kind of basic things, getting out and shooting, that's difficult on the front end. But going from that 90% to that 100% of actually like making a leap and calling yourself a full-time photographer is really challenging. So about 4 years back, I was kind of in that transitional, like pivotal state, and I was finding it really difficult. And one of the ways I kind of reverse engineered at being able to do that and to succeed in that space full time was by doing something different that other photographers were doing, being unique and trying to add additional value that other photographers weren't necessarily considering, didn't want to do, or were just simply being lazy. And I decided that I was going to start offering video services, that I was going to record video, and that's something that I could do in tandem with photography. So as soon as I started offering video services and that option to my clients, almost within the first year, I'd say that about 90% of my clients opted to also have at least some aspect of video in tandem with stills, with photography. That was really encouraging because I think really quickly that showed me that clearly there was a market for video. And I think if we're being honest as creators and photographers, if we were to ask a lot of our clients, existing clients, prospective clients, what their marketing needs are versus just their photography needs, you could see that there's a much broader spectrum and there's a much greater need for a lot, for multimedia, for a lot of other things. That includes creative writing, that includes copywriting, that includes, a whole umbrella of additional multimedia assets. So for me, why limit the amount of value that you can offer to your clients? And so for me, it was common sense. Like, it was to make that leap, to see that positive reinforcement, and then to add that extra value. It was a no-brainer for me. I still see 4 years later a lot of photographers kind of dragging their feet with video, and it kind of baffles my mind in a way because we pretty much have all of the equipment that we need for the most part. Sure, it's nice to upgrade lights, audio, and of course you can always build a greater and bigger cache of equipment, but to get started and to really just to start offering that service is really easy to do. It's something that if you have the photography equipment today to offer, commercial photography for clients, I mean, you could offer video services today. There's no reason, there's nothing stopping you from at least getting your feet wet and seeing if that's something that would benefit your business and, potentially also triple your incoming as well. Why would you want to, say no to that? So I would recommend at least try it, get your feet wet, see if it's something that you might actually really enjoy. It's something that, even though there was a steep learning curve on the front end for me, it was something that I really enjoyed after I got a bit of a hang for it. And afterwards, in retrospect, I can confidently say that it's also made me a greater photographer and a stills photographer, and I also approach storytelling and photos a little bit differently. So I don't think it'll do anything other than benefit your work, even if you try it out and you realize it's not for you. Which brings me to my second point, which is if you do realize that video is not for you, I think you're still missing out on a big piece of the pie by not offering it still under the umbrella of your photography. You can collaborate. There's so many amazing creatives out there in your community or any community, I guarantee you that they would be happy to partner with you or collaborate with you on projects. It's not rare for me to partner with other photographers who have a client that also want video work, and if that photographer doesn't offer video work, well, you know, they know someone that does video, so they'll give me a call, and you know, it's good for everyone. So it's one of those things where you can provide that extra value even without having to do that thing. There are definitely some jobs where I would rather do photography, so I might have someone else, I might consider getting someone else to direct or to be camera A or camera B so I can do something else. It really depends on the project, it depends on a lot of things, and that's kind of nice to have that flexibility. So there's really, you know, you can take on that extra work and provide that extra value for your clients without stepping into doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. If you pick up your camera and switch it to video and you give it a year and you learn that steep learning curve and do all the things and you realize that video is just not really for you, that you're a photographer, you like stills, that's what you're passionate about, that's where you want to break out into, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. At least you gave it a try. I think it'll only benefit your work, and I think there's a lot of alternatives that you can still offer your clients and create videos for them without being the one to create the videos for them. I think another benefit for offering video is that not only is there more or a bigger market for it, where you'll be able to, I firmly believe that it's easier to break out in a video space right now because it's harder to do. It's like it or not, it's a tougher skill set, and you have to acquire more skills to be proficient and actually create commercial quality videos. And I might get a lot of heat for that from photographers, but that is just the reality. There's audio, there's multiple cameras, multiple angles, there's screenwriting, there's storytelling, there's directing, there's, you know, interviewing, asking good questions, all the hats that an interviewer wears. There's lots of creating videos and lots of filmmaking in general, lighting, I mean, the list just goes on. So not to say that those aren't prevalent as a photographer as well, but it's just different. There's more to it, and that's just the reality. So what that does is that's also gonna help make you more valuable, and you're gonna be someone that has more skills and tools to pull from and offer to clients and offer that value. And that's gonna be something that's really unique even in 2021. In 2018, I was working with an athlete who was traveling to Africa, and I was really adamant about I wanted to go and I wanted to take photos. I wanted to be part of this small team that I could create content with, and I could offer my skills as a photographer to benefit the brands and the editorial companies and outlets that this athlete was partnered with. So the reality was they already had a photographer, so it was a no-go, it was not gonna happen. And then the opportunity came along where they said, well, do you do video? And at the time, I was really just starting to get my feet wet, and it was something that I had just decided, you know, that I was gonna take advantage of. So I thought, yeah, this is great. I'm gonna say yes to this. Yes, I do offer video, you know, so that first gig, offering video and going on this expedition in Africa, it never would have happened if I was just the photographer that said, sorry, you know what, video's not for me. I'm actually, I just shoot stills, I shoot photos. Let me know when you have a trip that comes up where you need a photographer. So, you know what, once in a lifetime experiences and, you know, being out there in the bush for 7 weeks, things like that, I mean, those opportunities never would have happened, and a lot of the time I still don't think they would if I was, you know, so set in my ways to do the one thing that I think that I enjoy. At the end of the day, I think you need to look at why are you doing photography, specifically if you're into the outdoors and nature and landscape photography, outdoor photography, things like that. For me, a lot of it is just an excuse to be outside. So I'm definitely a lot less stuck in just doing photography for the sake of photography. The aspect of being a photographer really doesn't actually have any interest to me, other than it helps facilitate me being outside, storytelling, and capturing unique experiences of really adventurous people in adventurous places. That's really what it comes down to for me. So I think if you're honest with yourself and you ask yourself, why am I into photography? What are some of the reasons that why do I pick up a camera? Why do I get excited about picking up a camera? If a big part of it is just to be outside, then don't limit yourself. I'm using outside as an example, but whatever that may be for you, then don't limit yourself, especially if that's not even the main thing. So I think now looking back and in retrospect, a lot of the time, because I do both, I do photography, I do stills, and I do video and I do motion, a lot of the time I get asked as a creative, like, what do you see first, or what excites you the most first, or are you a photographer first and you offer video now, or are you a videographer first who also shoots tandem stills? Like, what is the primary? And I think because I started as a photographer, I still see a lot of things as pictures. But now, because I do so much video, I also see things in sequences. So I think that's great for like photography storytelling and like editorial pieces, because instead of just creating one great photo that kind of sums up the experience in a single image, which is really hard to do, and I still love that and I love the challenge of that, I also look at smaller pieces of the puzzle and kind of focus on details. I think the list just goes on and on, the benefits of why you should get into video, whether it's when you look at it from a photographer's perspective, I think it will only benefit you. When I think of it as like a business opportunity, it's only going to benefit you. When you think of it, no matter where you're coming from, I really firmly believe that it's only good things that are going to materialize as a result of taking that leap into applying this new skill set, learning this new skill set, and hopefully eventually mastering it and being able to offer that extra value to everyone in your existing circle and the new circle that you're gonna approach, that new business and that new prospect of clients out there that are gonna find value in the video services that you're now offering. So I would really consider this, I would think about this, I would sit on this and I'd ask yourself those questions. Why am I even into photography, and what's stopping me from also approaching that with video? And then I would start applying that new skill set, learning that new skill set, and then just give it some time and try it out. All right, thanks for listening. It was a bit of a rant. I didn't really have any bullet points or anything, but I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about my experience and what, in hindsight now, I've learned, and how that could be potentially valuable for you as a photographer who's looking to grow your business and be more valuable to your clients. Please subscribe and turn on the bell notification and all that jazz, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Cheers.